Hey everybody, it's your girl Athena Renee. I want to welcome you back to another powerful and productive episode for my self starters and my underdogs. Listen, if you are ready to plug into your purpose and monetize your mission, you are in the right place at the right time. Speaking of time, I'm not here to waste yours, so let's get into this episode. Today, we're going to be talking about the only safe and stone-clad way to secure the bag in times of chaos. I hope you're ready for this episode, so grab pen and paper. While you're doing that, I want to send a special shout out to my first time listeners and my first time viewers. Hey, what's going on, y'all? And if you my OG subby from day one, what's up, gang? Listen, hang around to the end of this video, hang around to the end of this episode, and I'm going to be blessing you with a free gift in value over $200 that's going to help make your social media and networking game. It's going to take it to the next level. Trust me, okay? So while you're grabbing that pen and paper, let me tell you a little bit more about myself, just in case it's your first time here. I am a 10-time Amazon top author in the Kindle area. I just finished a book called The 28 Laws of the Underdog. You'll be hearing more about that on this show. On this episode, we talk about how to monetize your mission, how to level up your life through leadership if you're into if you want to stay in your career, and we help you how to plug into your purpose, whether that be a nonprofit organization, a freelance, or just starting a business. Okay, the catch to all of those things is all of my content, everything that I do is dedicated to the underdogs. Yes, it's dedicated to the black sheep. So if you resonate with that black sheep gang, if you resonate with the underdogs, listen, you are in good company and you in the right place at the right time. Now, what makes the underdog so special? What makes the black sheeps so special and powerful that I would want to dedicate my life to that? Well, first and foremost, what I want you to understand, what is so different about the underdogs and the black sheeps of the family, is that if you have been given the assignment of being a black sheep or the underdog, that surpasses everything that people try to use to divide people. What do I mean by that? Well, we're living in a race obsessed world now. Every channel you turn on, everything you do, you hear about something about race and ethnic background and how do you identify yourself. It's always something that is here to divide us. Okay, at the end of the day, guys, you must understand that the color of your skin is only the exterior, because at the end of the day we all end up dying. So that lets you know that we're all the same. We're in this boat together. But guess what? One thing about the underdog is you could be in a room with people that look like you and you still don't fit in. You can be in a family and everybody has the same hair, everybody has the same nose shape, eyes color, but guess what? You are the black sheep of the family. You just don't fit in. Or maybe you was like me, grew up in a neighborhood that was completely hood, but you just did not fit in. You was just as hood and ratchet or whatever you were as everybody else, but you just did not fit in, right? Because when you the underdog or the black sheep of the family, it don't care about your color. It don't care about your ethnicity and what you identify as. You can find yourself in a room full of people that on the outside look exactly like you or very super similar to you, and you still feel like an outsider. That, my friend, is why I've dedicated my life to helping the underdog and the black sheep of the family level up their life. All right, so again, if this is you, listen, consider subscribing, because we're always dropping hot content. We got a YouTube channel and we on this podcast, so just depending on how you catch us, you're always going to get something that's going to be very valuable to you and your mission. Now, at the end of this broadcast today, like I said, I got a free gift for you, so I can't wait till you get your hands on that. But not only that, if you find this content valuable to your mission, hit that like button, share it, and consider subscribing, okay? So let's get into this episode. Today we're talking about the only safe and stone-clad way to secure the bag in times of chaos. Really, guys, this is the only way to secure the bag in a safe, stone-clad manner in any times. But right now, guys, we are in completely, truly changing times. It is crazy, and I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole of talking about some of the things that I would love to get into, starting off with BRICS, right? If you haven't heard, BRICS, they are a conglomerate. There are multiple countries, nations, huge nations, such as China, Brazil, South Africa, and Russia. Russia, who has the largest landmass on planet Earth of land. I believe they are. If they're not number one, they're number two. All of these guys have clicked up because they want to take the dollar down, right? There's so much that we can unpack in that particular topic, not even just about BRICS, but just in the cycles of the economy, cycle of superpowers. We can get into that, but we're not going to get into that today, because what's most important is, what you must understand is, life always changes. There's cycles to everything, and some of you are actually in different cycles of your life. I'm sure you've identified, and if you haven't, I'll give you one of the most simple ways that people think in terms of seasons of life. You have springtime. That's when you young and popping, right? Maybe some people might say from birth all the way to your 20s, maybe 25, right? Then you get the summertime. Summertime is when you still popping, but you got a little bit of knowledge on you. You know, you didn't seen a little bit of things, but you're still learning, right? So some people might say, hey, that's from 25 to about 35 years old. Now, again, nothing's set in stone, because many of you, again, I'm just going to speak for myself. I know I am a late bloomer in many departments. The only department that I was not a late bloomer is recognizing and understanding that if you made money, if you were leveled up, if you were clouded up, you could make moves. It didn't even matter about a lot of different things, right? So I always pursued some type of above average career, job, or position, so that I could at least have that taste of independence, quote unquote, if you will, because I was still working for folks, right? But I did not want to be in that pool at the bottom, right? So for an example, when I started off flipping burgers, a year later I was managing the burger flippers, okay? Because there's no shame in flipping the burgers to start, but why would I stay flipping burgers when I can manage the burger flippers, right? So that's just to give you an example of that. And I'm saying that to say everybody has different timing. I'm just giving you this as an example and something that you can kind of put in the back of your mind as far as the cycles of life, because what you must understand is things change, life change, people change. And we could talk about that for hours on hours on end. For an example, if you're in a relationships, the things that got your wheels going when you guys were in your 20s, maybe if you're in your 40s now, that might not be the same thing. You know, it's so funny how you hear people always talking about, I'm going to remain the same, I'll never change. You can say that all you want, but your body changing every single day. Did you know that every second you're living, you're dying at the same time? So how can you deny the importance of change? So here's my take on change and cycles of life. Why not be in the forefront of the change? Why not be the captain of the change that you know is already going to happen anyway? Because if you don't, like I was talking about in some of my other videos, if you don't empower the change that you need in your life to see what you want to see, somebody else is going to power over you, right? So for an example, if you're out working for someone else and you don't love the job, or if it's not in line with something that you want to do, it's cool that you're getting a check, but you're just helping somebody else build their dream. So what does that mean? That means their priorities will power over yours if you don't have a direction for your life, right? So I'm saying these things to say, listen, since we know life changes and we can't do nothing about it, let's be the captain of that change. Let's hop right in the front of it and steer it and ride that thing until we get it parked in a place that we want it to be in, right? Let's get it valeted in an area that we want it to be valeted in. You understand what I'm saying? So right now, we're living in a time, man, in U.S. history, we've never seen it before. People have never seen this before. I'm saying to this particular level of change, right? Because the economy has always had cycles. Every economy has cycles. You know, there's been recessions, other places, there's been depressions, other years. There's actually a great book that you need to check out called The Fourth Turning. And this book has noted history and the different cycles. It's so powerful, guys, when you really take hold to that change that's going on right now. You know, when I look throughout history, if you don't know, I'm also I'm just so much into history, not living in the past, but understanding the past so that we can create a better future, right? Because a lot of people, the only thing they want to talk about is the past. It kind of get boring to me, right? After a while, it's like, look, dude, I don't want to keep bringing up the past. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about some futuristic things as well. However, we would be a fool to think that the past does not drop clues on us so that we can position ourselves for a better future. That's what I love about the past. That's what I love about studying history. And so this book called The Fourth Turning, it actually has documented the time and the cycles of different wars and how war break out. And listen, it's interesting, an interesting study. So you definitely should check that out. Again, that's called The Fourth Turning. However, regardless of that, I want you to understand that flat out, plain and simple, we are in changing times, fast and in a hurry. And there's no time like the present to change your life and for the better. Okay. And again, everybody has different goals, but if you're here and you hear the sound of my voice, I know you like growth. I know you want more. Regardless of where you're at right now, maybe you're getting the money that you want. Maybe you want a better relationship. Maybe you want to level up your career. Maybe, you want more freedom in a particular area of life, right? So if you're under the sound of my voice, I'm here. I was born to serve the black sheeps, the underdogs, and the underprivileged of life that wants to level up. Not the dirtbags that want to steal, kill, and destroy. Not those folks. Okay, I'm talking about the ones that just have an inner desire to grow. And they don't know right now. Maybe they know a little bit. They just know they have the desire. I'm here to serve you. And if you are on the sound of my voice, I know that's who you are. And so today I want to talk about the only safe and stone-clad way that you're going to be able to secure the bag. Now, what do I mean by secure the bag? All right. So if you're not familiar with urban vernacular and slang and things like that, secure the bag pretty much means make the money, right? How are you going to secure that job? Like when they say secure the credit line and all of those things, secure the bag means secure that money bag. Okay. And the reason why I'm talking about it in a money sense, because obviously health is wealth, right? You need to have that health, but I'm talking about money today because regardless if we're using a Bitcoin, a paper dollar, fiat currency, whatever it is that we're using for trade, you must understand that having money gives you options. And the more money that you have, it gives you more options. But not only that, the way that you make your money, the way that in which you generate your income, also gives you different types of options, right? So I'm gonna just give you a light example and then we're gonna move on. Think about how people have fell in love with working remotely and working from home. Why did that become so popular? It was going on before COVID-19. Okay, if you how many of you heard about the snowstorm? They called it Snowmageddon in Atlanta about 10 years ago, between 7 to 9 years ago. And it seems like a long time from now, and I might be over exaggerating that, matter of fact, but I think it happened in 2014, between 2014 and 2016, somewhere in there. Man, Atlanta had a snowstorm, y'all, and the whole 285 was shut down. Okay, people couldn't move, couldn't do anything. It was crazy, it was scary. But guess what? During that time, I was working from home. I was doing my business at that time, but I was also doing roadside assistant call center from the house. I'll never forget it. Right? So working remotely is not a new thing. So why are people all of a sudden falling in love with remote work? Well, remote work gives you more of a sense of freedom. Okay, freedom. Yes, freedom. What does freedom mean? Freedom means you have the option to set things up the way you want. And here's the thing, I want you guys to also understand that freedom is not free. Now, why would I even say that? Because at the end of the day, you have to always give something to gain. Do away with these people that always think that on an earthly level you don't have to give anything. You may have to give your time, you may have to give, study, give up snacks, something. You're gonna have to give something, okay? And it's not always bad, because when you want better, you're willing to give up the old for the new anyways, right? So that's why remote working has gained popularity, because of the freedom that it entails. Okay, so but in today's time, we are facing massive changes in our workplace, not just working remotely. We are in a time where business owners are struggling as well. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, it's a business, and you might be the one getting cut. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but as a freelancer, you could be the best freelancer this company has ever seen. I'm talking about you're getting big results. It's so funny because people will say, make yourself so invaluable that they won't fire you. Listen, if you are not the founder of that company, when push comes to shove, they will get rid of you. Let me tell you something. Depending on their number one priorities and their motives as a company. So for an example, if their bottom line, saving money, is their motive, they will hire someone not as good as you, but they're cheaper than you. They're less expensive than you, and they will manage that, because they will take what you did and they will help them out with that. So please understand that nobody is indispensable. No one is indispensable. And if you feel that you are completely indispensable, number one, you really have no idea. But number two, there's a good chance that you've thrown all of your self-respect in the trash can. Right? Because I have seen people that keep around folks so they can be their doormat. Right? If you don't know, I've worked with a lot of high-end celebrity clients, and not everybody, but a lot of the people that I've encountered, they enjoy talking to people on their team that's helping them build their business like crap. And guess what? For those associations, some people deal with it. I've even met females that put up with sexual harassment in the industry just to be there. You understand what I'm saying? Just to be there. So you must understand, we're living in different times now. So with that being said, how do you set up a backup plan? Right? Because you can do all the right things, and guess what? They'll still tell you to pack your belongings in the little box, and they'll send you your last check in the mail. You can do all the right things. You can follow all the right protocol, and people will still treat you like crap at the job. So what do? How do you set that up? You got so many things on the line. You got rent to pay, car note, credit cards due, house mortgage, all these things. How do you secure the bag in these times? Well, first of all, you must understand that at the beginning of time from your creation, you are your own most valuable asset. You are the MVP. You must understand this. You are the MVP. What do I mean by that? Listen, if you have touched down on planet Earth, you are here for a reason. Only thing you have to do is go research the complete birth process. It's almost 1 million sperms that's trying to get to the uterus. 1 million? They trying to get in there to get to that egg. And guess what? If you're not a set of twins, only one can make it. Isn't that something? Out of all of those sperms are little babies waiting to be connected with their destiny, plugged into their destiny to see, what am I going to be? The birthing process is a miracle alone. So when you think about that way, you know you're a miracle. You know you're here for something, right? So you have to treat your life like you are a custom piece created by a master creator, right? You're the clay and the creator is the potter, and he's shaping and molding you into a masterpiece. Masterpieces can take a while. So number one, you got to be patient with yourself. But number two, first of all, you got to have a certain self-respect and self-value, that you are important. You're here for a particular reason, right? So what else does that mean? That means you will invest in things that will help you become a better person. Starting off with education. Obviously health, right? But today we're not getting into health right now, because I love talking about health, but that's a completely different story, and it's going to extend out, you know what I'm saying? But health is wealth, number one, guys, because you don't want to get rich and guapped up and can't spend your money, right? No, we're not doing that. So listen, health is definitely wealth. So that's a part of it. But I'm talking about you as a whole holistic person. You want to become educated on different things that are important to you. So first of all, maybe you don't know what you want to become educated on, but it might just be educated on communicating. You recognize, you know what, man, I come from this certain side of the tracks, and sometimes when I talk, I know I mumble. People can't understand what I'm saying. So you know what, I'm going to buy a magazine. I'm going to buy a book and just start reading these words so I can expand my vocabulary. Or you know what, I'm going to hop on YouTube University.com for the free 99, and I'm going to learn some new words and how to communicate with people. Right? So number one, educating yourself. Okay? And two, after you have kind of lightly start to educate yourself on things that you can control. That's the first part. Educating yourself on the things that you can control. So health will be one of them. You can control what you eat and don't eat. Maybe you can't buy all organic food, but you're not going to go out and just buy all processed foods all the time. Right? Number two, maybe you're not rich right now, but you're going to learn how maybe a certain type of bank accounts. Maybe my credit is bad right now, but I'm going to learn how do I fix it over time. Listen, learning how and educating yourself on how to control the controllables. That's number one. That's the first step into being able to secure the bag in a stone-clad way in times of chaos and change. You have to educate yourself on controlling the controllables in your life according to the lifestyle that you want. So what does that mean? You have to have a vision for yourself. Before you can even think about securing a bag, what type of bag do you want? What type of bag do you want? What is the vision for your life? So here's what's cool about success. Give me 1 second. You know what's cool about success and what I love about it is that success is relative to the person that's talking about it. So what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is, to one person, they want to make $50 million in a year. That'll be successful to them. Another person might say, shoot, I want to bring in $3 million a month. Right? Then you might have another person might say, listen, if I can just make $100,000 in a year, I'm cool. I'm Gucci. But guess what? Then you might have someone else that might say, listen, if I can just make $75,000 and do it from home so that I can spend time with my family, I'm successful. So this is what I love about success. It's all about you. It's all about what makes you happy. What makes you happy? Listen, working with a lot of 7 and 8 figure clients, and I'm so grateful for it. It was a very, very challenging time. I learned so much. But because of the exposure that they gave me, allowed me to see deals where people are buying $1 million homes straight out in cash, getting them built up from the ground. Because of the exposure that they gave me to be able to expand my mindset and change my paradigm shift, I'll never drop their names in none of my work. In one of my other works called The 48 Shades of Fake, it talks about the dark side of working with celebrity brands. One of my clients is the designer for one of the top 5 singers, pop singers in the world, and if not in the world, definitely in America. Top 5, hands down. And I talk about the dark side because when I tell you it was challenging. And here's the deal, guys. I've never been one of those people that's a groupie about celebrities. Obviously, we all have our favorites, right? Like, I'm a crazy Indiana Jones fan, but I'm not going to just geek out. I mean, I might a tiny bit, but not too much. I'm more so into, man, they are so cool because they put in the hard work to get there. That's what make me geek out. That's another reason why you'll hear me talk about athletes a lot of times, right? Because it's the training, it's the education, because they were confident in themselves to invest the time. That's what make them so cool to me, right? And don't get me wrong, obviously I want to adapt some of those characteristics, but even if I don't, it still gives you a glimpse of what it takes to get to that level. Okay, so I'm saying that to say, have a vision for yourself. What is the bag that you want to see? Who is a person that you want to be? Who do you want to become for you and your family and for your future? So you have to decide, well, what type of bag do I want? Number one, that's the vision, kind of have a vision for yourself. What do I want? Okay, how much do it cost to get that? What kind of bag do I need to have? Right? Once you figure that out, then you can start talking about, well, how do I get that bag? Okay, because here's the deal. One person might say, I want to just get me a high-end executive corporate position. Because, that's why we talk a lot about leveling up your career through leadership. I was able to give myself a $25,000 raise just by learning 1 or 2 new skills. Okay. And that took me into the 75K realm 5 years ago. Right. Prior to my business going to the next level, to that 6-figure level, I was able to take my career just by learning different skills. Right? So at the end of the day, it's about you having vision on what you want. But here is here's the second thing. Well, this is the third thing, right? Because number one, you want to identify the bag that you need. 2, A vision for yourself. Where do you really see yourself? And maybe that's number one, really starting off with having a vision for yourself. But right now we're just breaking it all the way down because we're talking about the bag. So you can really just start off with, how much money do you need to have to live the life that you want? Let's get down to the nitty gritty. People nowadays are so offended by any and everything, and we can't just get to the raw of the matter, right? So this channel, like I said, this is why this show is all about the underdogs, because the underdogs always get a lot of dog food thrown at them. We get dirt in our eye. We get the raw deal of how people feel about us. One thing about being an underdog, people do not mind telling you how they really feel about you and what you got going on. Now, here's another way that you can identify if you're an underdog. If people don't mind telling you how they feel about you, but if you return the favor, they get super angry, you an underdog. You know why? Because who do you think you are challenging what they say? Okay? So anyways, let's stay on task with this. Securing the bag, the only safe and stone-clad way to secure the bag these days. Right? Because like I was just telling you, you can be the best thing popping in your restaurant, in your business, working for a company, or freelancing, and they will simply get rid of you just because it's somebody else is cheaper. Don't you ever forget that. Please understand. I had a client that I dedicated over 2 years to their projects. Never missed any time at all. And the reason why I talk about that a lot, because I have always just been so much into discovering who I am. I was willing to take off work, call off work. I always had a great work ethic, but if I needed some time away, when you give so much and you giving your energy and your light, hey, that's a lot of stress and strain. So I used to let people know, hey, listen, I don't have a problem with coming in on Fridays and stuff like that, or Mondays. But if I don't feel like coming in on Tuesday through Friday or Tuesday through Thursday, I'm not coming in. And I had to change my mindset about that to know that, first of all, no matter who you're working for God. You're working for the Creator, right? And going past that, what you do for others, how you work for other people, is a representation of how you will work in your own business. It's a representation of your brand. So if I had customers and I'm not showing up on time to somebody else's job, that means if I had my own customers, I show up late for them too. And I know a lot of people might say, nah, if I had my own customers, I wouldn't do that. But what you must understand is, how you do the small things is how you do the big things. It's all about habit. It's all about habit and what you value. So when I started gaining these clients, right before the 6 figures popped off, I went into dedication mode. I didn't know days off. Showed up at every event, always giving innovative ideas, being very futuristic, watching out, being very protective over their assets like it was my own. But guess what? When they wanted to save money, I was the first one on the chopping block. When they wanted to save money, I was the first one on the chopping block. And some of you might say, well, you wasn't as good as maybe you wasn't as good as you thought you was. Till this day, their customers continue to call me to ask me what's going on with the business. Till this day. Matter of fact, if you're under the sound of my voice today in 2023, that client that I had, one of their customers called me today trying to figure out what's going on with that business. Okay, so when you know your work ethic, you know your skill set, be confident in that. A lot of times, moves being made by a company has no reflection at all on your performance. Don't get me wrong, you know if it does or not, right? So I'm saying that to say, how do you set something up so that you don't catch the surprise package when you got to pack your belongings up like I did and walk through the hall of shame while people looking at you, right? When they just gave you a bonus 2 weeks before, right? You don't want that. Some of you may have already had it. I always imagine myself being like, if you know about this movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, I might watch it tonight. But man, that's one of my favorite movies in the world, because Dan Aykroyd, he had it going on. He was a part of the club. You know, Eddie Murphy, he was a street dude. But Dan Aykroyd was a part of the club, the Polo Club in Cali. You know, he was Mortimer. You know, he had it going on. But guess what? When they decided to play a game for $1, his whole life changed. And you must understand that these businesses, they don't care. Now, here's one side to it I want you to also understand, because we can't be biased and I can't paint one side of the picture for you. The other side to the picture is, when a lot of companies cut, you must understand at the end of the day, that business started off with one person's dream. And I'm going to keep it 100 with you. You don't know if that man or woman slept in their car for that business to pop off. So guess what? When things started going left, if they had to cut people, they gonna cut it. Because only thing it takes is you to have one flashback of how much you sacrificed for that business, and you're not gonna let it go down. So here's my thing. Don't even be offended by it. Don't even be offended by it. You're gonna be hurt. I can't even lie to you and say you're not gonna be hurt. You're gonna be a little hurt. And there's ways around that, but to me, you know, a lot of people say, well, don't put your emotion into the business. But anything that you invest your time in, you're going to become somewhat connected to it. Obviously, you got to keep in the back of your mind, this is a business and this opportunity could be gone at any point in time. But when you spend your blood, sweat, and tears on something day in and day out, you're going to have a certain level of affinity to it. And there's just no way around it. Okay. But like I said, how do you protect yourself? Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. Do you know the only way that you can secure the bag in the times of chaos and changing, with no stability in the world in which you don't know what's going on and what will happen next? Do you know what you need to do to secure that bag? That stone-clad way? The only way. That way is to discover your destiny. Yes, you gotta discover your destiny. And guess what? I don't care if you're 65. You got to start right now. Why? Because there's no better time than the present to discover why you were born in the first place. We was all born for a reason. Let me tell you what's so cool about destiny. Destiny will give you youth. Destiny can also extend your life. Now, let me tell you about why destiny don't even care about age. It's all about you waking up, having an awakening, and saying, you know what, I've been created for more than what I'm doing right now. The Colonel who invented KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, do you know that restaurant did not blow up until he was 65, guys? 65 years old. I tell that to my parents every time. I tell it to him every time, because what you must understand is the Colonel got his SSI check, his Social Security check. I believe it was stated that it was $184. In that time, that could be decent money, right? But all I know is it was reported that he was 38 hot. What does 38 hot mean? He was pissed off. He was pissed off. Now, prior to, he had already been trying to get the 11 spices and the original 11 spices and seasonings on. He was trying to get that recipe out there, right? He had been going to different gas stations and different places like that, and nobody was going for it, y'all. So you know how it is when you pursuing something, you doing it, then you fall back. You know how life is up and down. Well, guess what? That crappy SSI check was the last thing. That was the straw that broke the horse's back and got him back on track. Got him back on track to discovering his destiny and putting those recipes out there. And guess what? Lo and behold, I believe it was 1984, he got on at the age of 65. Why am I talking about KFC? Because age ain't nothing but a number when it's time to destiny. The creator, God God, I like saying the creator's kind of cool, but I'm talking about God, right? You can believe whatever you want. I'm just telling you what works for me. But God will extend your life and give you a new wave of energy when you decide to discover your destiny. Why? Because that's your assignment. It's your assignment. It is your assignment. And what I love about when you discover your destiny, this is how you know you've discovered it. Even when you mess up or find a way that don't work, you still love it. You still want to do it. It can piss you off. You could blow a whole check on it. You be like, man, forget it. I ain't gonna do it no more. An hour later, a week later, you be like, you know what? I'm gonna go and try it again. You can't give it up. It's like a fire, y'all. It's like an energy. See, when you riding around here in the public and you just see these people going crazy, wilding out with road rage and all that crazy stuff, they haven't discovered their destiny. You know why they do road rage? They haven't discovered their destiny. See, if you discovered your destiny, you won't be thinking about driving like no lunatic going dead fast to get to a job that'll fire you at any given time. Why drive down the road doing 95 miles an hour to a job that probably won't even send flowers to your funeral? You know why? Because you haven't discovered your destiny. You're doing 100 to a job that don't even care about you. Do you see the idiocracy? Do you see the idiocracies in that? So the first thing is discover your destiny. Now look, check this out, y'all. This is what's so cool. This is another thing that's cool about discovering your destiny and how it is the only safe and stone-clad way. Number one, when you discover your destiny, you then plug into your purpose. Okay? You plug into your purpose. What's the purpose? The point of you being here. Destiny is really the journey. Destiny is the ending of the journey. It's like your journey that you're going in. But the purpose is the point. What's the point of me being here? What's the purpose of me being here? Destiny is the journey on your way to those things, the experiences and everything that shapes that whole experience and transformation. But when you plug into that purpose, listen, your purpose could be so huge, but it's something that's so small and simple that could make you profitable. My. I love that. When you plug into your purpose, it don't have to be some big. Listen, your purpose is big, but to get you paid, it don't have to be some grand finale, Broadway play, big New York Times Square poster up there. Guys, it could be something as simple as buying a Cricut machine and making cards for maybe women that lost a child, parents that lost a child, right? It could be something that a lot of times your purpose is connected to your pain. And it is for you to take your pain and turn it into a learning incubator for other people so that you can help them on their mission. And guess what? You know what's so cool about it? When you do that, your story will never die. Even when you pass on, this is why I write books, guys. A lot of people, listen, writing books, you can write. Let me tell you something about writing books here really quickly, and then we're going to move on. Writing books is really beautiful. I'm a bookworm, okay? So I love books no matter what. But number one, when you first start in a business, if you've ever went to any branding class, anything like that, people will tell you to write a book. This is why a lot of celebrities write books and stuff like that. Why? Because number one, it gives you authority. You wrote a book. You literally sat down and wrote a book. It instantly gives you a certain level of credibility. Okay? But number two, this is the one I want. This is the one I truly love. Listen, you can help people that you never meet. And check this out. Your body will die. You will transition on, but your books will live forever. Your classes and courses will live forever. Think about all the people that have moved on and we continue to listen to them. We continue to read their books and their stories and hear about them because they did something to help someone else and to impact lives. And I can guarantee you It gave them income. Think about it. I'm sitting here talking about KFC. That man died, I think, in 1990, 1991, or something like that. But here it is, 2023, and I'm talking about him right now. Right? We talk about a lot of our old people that have went and moved on. The reason is because when you do things to impact other people, helping them in a positive way, you live forever. That's the way that you live forever. And that's why I love the books. So I'm saying that to say this. It's not about you writing a book. You could definitely do that. But it's more so about the way you help someone. Because as I stated, let's say for instance, if your life purpose is to help people that lost a child, and you've decided to execute that through making beautiful cards with inspirational sayings. Do you understand that if that was your God-given work, someone could keep that card for 30 years and they could pass it down generation through generation, and someone could pull it out and there's your card. You've been dead for 30 years. They pull it out and there's your card on their fireplace. There's your card on that mantle. Do you understand how powerful that is? A card. So it could be a book, a card, pictures, whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. This is why it is the only stone-clad way, because it was assigned to you. It was given you at birth. It was given to you at when you transitioned over to when you became a physical manifestation. It was assigned to you already. It's stone clad because can't nobody take it away. It don't matter what the world do. We can change currencies. We can become a second world country. Nobody, no man, woman, clone, or artificial intelligence can take your purpose. It can't take your destiny away. This is why it's stone clad. And this is why I implore you, listen, please think about the things in your life experiences, good and bad. A lot of times your destiny and purpose is connected to pain. But take an inventory if you don't know what those things are just yet. If you don't know your purpose of life, take an inventory of the things that you've been through and that you know you can impact someone else and help them out. Take an inventory of all of those things. It could even be deep-seated things that you don't really want to talk about too much, but you really know that you could help someone out. If if you was to share your story or bits and pieces of it, you could help someone out. Take a list, take inventory of those things, and then think about what would be the way that connects with you most to impact the world with that gift that you have, with that life experience that you have. What would be the best way to connect with people? Could you connect through a YouTube channel? Could you connect through a podcast speaking? Could you connect through books, writings, art, website, products, t-shirts, candles? It's so many different ways that you can connect with people, right? But think about those things. And then after that, it's as simple as 1, 2, 3 to finalize on how you will monetize your mission, right? And when I say simple, that doesn't mean it's easy. Simple simply means you can find any company. There's a website called Sendal, and you can put a one-page, a sale page up for free and sell a product. So that's what I mean by simple, right? It's not hard to put a website up anymore, but it is simple, right? However, it's not easy getting the people there to see your product. So that's why you're here. I'm going to walk you through step of the way, but I just wanted to drop on in today and give you some comfort into knowing that out of all the stuff that's changing and going on in the world, there's still a way that will always be there, a stone-clad, safe way for you to secure the bag no matter what's going on. And that is all about discovering your destiny and plugging into your purpose. Now listen, if you found this recording helpful to your mission, please hit that like button. And as I was saying, for staying to the end with me. Don't forget, I got a gift for you valued over $200. All the graphic designs, video, and reels that you need to take your business to the next level and or startup. So you'll see that in the description box. Again, if you find this content purposeful for your mission, please hit that like button, share the video, and consider subscribing. Listen, until next time, the glow up is real. Take care of yourself.